Okay, why are we getting echo? Okay, let's switch to headset and see if that corrects the echo. As people are dialing in. Looks like we have a delay. If you have joined for the Intentionally Inclusive series, then you are in the right place. In about 3.5 and online, the chat room is open. If you're on Facebook, see. My name is Tracy Brown, and it's always good to have a. So let's over here. Hope you're having everything that you perfectly. Being into content. Over on Facebook, say hi if you won't be able to check. is the top of the hour. You have Tracy Brown. I'm the founder. That's coming up in intentionally inclusive. I'm really excited about intentionally inclusive. This year, friend, sharing and how they can help. So the series is topics, multicultural, messy. Each week, I'll be pushing information. I will be intentional that you should know. For this focus will be for me, who's a board member in a church or spiritual community. Now, the truth is, all of the actual concepts and skills apply in any organization. But I'll be really focusing in on what happens in spiritual communities and helping you think about how to apply these concepts in that way. If you are a leader in another kind of nonprofit or really in an organization, then you will get some value. But just know, if you sign up every week, I'll be talking about how this applies to membership and ministry and the messages and the music in church environments. So that's what the series is. 4 webinars, 45 minutes each, every Tuesday in September. And they will be recorded. So if you register for them, you will be able to watch the recording. Some people, if they're not really familiar with me, might say, well, who are you to do this? So my name is Tracy Brown. Stained Glass Spirit was founded in 2009 to really focus on the intersection between diversity, spirituality, and inclusion. And I have had the honor, really, to work with a variety of churches or denominations, although primarily my focus is working with communities in the New Thought movement. And the focus has been on leaders and how leaders can make a difference, how leaders can demonstrate commitment to diversity and inclusion. I'm also the founder of What Is Mine to Do, a very active Facebook group. And the question, what is mine to do, to create mutual respect, to contribute to a world where race-based hatred and violence is diminished or eliminated. What is mine to do? So the entire idea is to take individual responsibility for making a contribution to a world that is improved in terms of our relationships across racial identity groups. And then in general, for more than 25 years, I have worked with corporations and organizations throughout the United States on diversity strategy, leadership development related to inclusion, and have done training with more than 400,000 people around the country. So this series, Intentionally Inclusive, the September series, is designed really to help you look at four things. So the first week, we'll talk about diversity as a divine idea. And this is based on the concept that diversity was created by God, so it can't be a mistake. And if we believe that diversity is a natural expression of the creativity of spirit, of the wisdom of spirit, then how does that change how we recognize diversity, how we value diversity, and how we talk about diversity? The second week, we will look at inclusion requires action. For so many people, the commitment to inclusion is very clear in their mind, but their behaviors don't necessarily reflect that commitment. And so week 2 will be all about actions, behaviors, what does it look like to be inclusive? And in this case, especially for leaders in spiritual communities. Week 3, multicultural is sometimes messy. I just have to smile about that because probably 75% of the calls and emails I receive are from people who are caught in the messiness of creating a healthy multicultural environment. So this week we'll focus on what kinds of conflict can you expect? What kinds of things can you do to prepare for the conflict that happens as people are being faced with more diversity and learning how to be inclusive? We'll talk about what are some resources and skills you need to have to be a leader who can navigate this kind of conflict. And we'll spend a little bit of time reassuring you that the conflict does not mean that you are doing anything wrong. In fact, you cannot move to the next level of inclusion without there being some conflict. So sometimes just knowing that makes a big difference in how you respond to it. And I do mean respond to it, not just react to it. Most of our biggest issues come because we react when being multicultural or creating a multicultural environment gets a little messy. So week 3 is all about it's sometimes messy, and in order for us to grow, that growth requires confusion and discomfort. You can get through it. And then the 4th week, we will focus on walking the talk. Now that phrase is not new to you, but what I mean when I talk about it in this context is what do we do to sustain the commitment through action over weeks and months and years. Commitment is always followed by action, always. And so when you make the commitment to be a stained glass spirit community, then you must take action. So some of what we'll talk about in that week is about how to let your words and actions be examples of the nature of God, right? The nature of harmony, the nature of expansion. How do you train yourself and encourage others to consistently deliver the demonstration that you value diversity and that inclusion is an important part of your culture? So those are the key topics for the 4 weeks. And I'm going to review them and share a couple of points. But before I do, I want to let you know that by participating in this or seeing this, you have access to get in the door early. So there are two options. Actually, there are more than two options. But the two big categories of options are you can sign up for the webinars only, for 45-minute webinars. And you'll get a lot of value from that. I'll be sharing great information. Or you can sign up for a more extensive option, which is the full course. So people who sign up for the full course will, of course, get the webinars. And there'll be a weekly Q&A call for responses to specific questions or concerns. And that will be live, or you can email questions in and I'll address them and it'll be recorded. There will be interviews with others. So for each of these topics, I'm interviewing actual leaders and ministers in spiritual communities about how they are navigating their commitment to diversity and inclusion. And each week, there'll be a minimum of 2 interviews with others that will be available to you in the classroom. There will be a pretty healthy list of resources, links, articles, tips, checklists that each week will be added in specifically to the content that is focused on that week. And even though I think I'm really good and I have the answers to a lot of questions, one of the best attributes or assets of signing up for the whole course is that you'll be able to interact with other people taking the course, and you'll get their responses to your questions. You'll get them sharing how they have handled a situation that you might be facing, and they'll be sharing resources they may be familiar with as well. So if you want some quick information, sign up for the webinars. And if you want the webinars plus a full experience of digging into the topic and developing your toolkit, then you might want to sign up for the full course, the online course. So the links are active for both the course and the webinars. And I want to encourage you to sign up sooner rather than later. The course is priced at $150, 4 weeks, 4 webinars, 4 Q&A calls, resources and checklists, interviews with ministers and other leaders, and an online community. However, if you sign up more than 2 weeks in advance of the course, you get a $25 discount. And because you're watching the webinar or the Facebook Live, if you sign up really fast, like in the next 8 days, 10 days, by February? Okay, by August 13, then you'll get an additional discount, and it'll be $110 for the course. If the course doesn't interest you, then just sign up for the webinars, and you'll get lots of really good information. The webinars are $15 each, and if you sign up for all 4, you get in for $40. So the links are at the bottom of the screen if you're online. If you're not online watching this through the webinar platform, then just know I will post the links right after the webinar on my Facebook page for those of you who are watching the Facebook Live. And those links will stay up at least 4 or 5 days before I delete them. So let me go back and maybe answer questions you might have about the 4 topics. Again, it's the Intentionally Inclusive series for September 2017. The first week, we'll be talking about diversity as a divine idea, that diversity was created by God, so it's not a mistake, and how that shapes both how we view diversity and how we value it, how we teach about it, and how we perceive our responsibility to live in harmony with it. Week 2, inclusion requires action. And we'll be focusing on taking action, individual action as a leader, and how we encourage other leaders to take action. Inclusion really is a choice. There's diversity all around us. However, what we do about that diversity and with that diversity is totally up to us individually. And so inclusion require actions will remind you that being inclusive is a skill to be developed, and it is a journey, not a destination. So the actions we take make a big difference and determine whether or not we're reflecting the harmony of the divine in our human interactions. So that's week 2. Week 3, multicultural is sometimes messy. Sometimes messy. Some people say it's always messy. I think this is going to be my favorite week because I love what happens when people get into understanding diversity and trying to create inclusion, and then they hit a brick wall. And there's nothing wrong with hitting a brick wall, really. So what this week is about is recognizing it's not always easy, looking at ways to respond and recover when it's not easy, and then being able to see yourself really expand so that your comfort zone expands and you become more effective. So, this idea that it's sometimes messy is what keeps many people from actually diving in. And I want to help you not only dive in, but then swim the length of the pool back and forth and back and forth. So that's week 3. Multicultural is sometimes messy. And I'll tell you, if you sign up for the course, the interviews from this week alone are worth the price of the full course, because I'm talking to real people about real challenges and what they did when they were faced with that challenge. Some really great stories. And then we'll round out the series with Walking the Talk. And I love this topic too, because in Science of Mind, we call our prayer process spiritual mind treatment. And we often say, treat and move your feet. And so it's really important to take action. And this week is all about action. So we'll be walking the talk, examples of the nature of God. So that's the series. Please join me. Please sign up. If you have questions, email me at tracy@reclaimjoy.com. And you can also post questions on Facebook. You can also post questions anywhere that you're interacting with me. Stained Glass Spirit, what is mine to do? And if you have specific questions that you want me to address in the webinars, then let me know, because I can adapt the content just a little bit to make sure that you get your burning questions answered. So again, the links are, if you're online with me, at the bottom of the screen on the right-hand side, the link for webinars only. And on the left-hand side, the links for the full course. I'll review the pricing one more time. The pricing for the webinars only, $15 each week. Each webinar has a different login. If you want to participate in all 4 webinars, but not the course, then the price is $40, so you get a savings. However, if you want to dive in and have a lot of fun with us all month, then sign up for the course. It includes the webinars. It includes a weekly Q&A, which is important because the webinars will not be open to Q&A. I will not open the lines for Q&A. And the course has a live Q&A session. The course has a way for you to post questions throughout the week, all month long, to me individually or to the entire group. There is an online community, so everyone in the course can share information, ideas, resources, examples of successes with each other directly without going through me. And there will also be a minimum of 2 interviews each week that I am doing with ministers, board members, diversity and inclusion professionals, so that you can have different perspectives and you can learn from other people's experience and expertise as well. So I hope this answers your basic questions. I want to encourage you to sign up sooner rather than later, especially for the course, because you can save a lot of money by signing up early bird or with the fast action discount. And in the meantime, if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to post them to me on Facebook or to send them to me via email, Tracy, Tracy, at reclaimjoy.com. I hope to see you all through September in the Intentionally Inclusive September series. Bye for now.